Hello there, welcome to my channel. My name is Dursun. I'm a business coach. I help entrepreneurs find and live their purpose, build impactful businesses, and effectively communicate their story. In today's video, I want to share my views and address some of the key and common questions I keep hearing from startup founders. These are: how many people should present the pitch? How do you present your business pitch as a team? And how to handle questions and answers section after your pitch. Let's get into it. Let's start with question number 1. How many people should participate in the pitch? This is a common question startup teams ask themselves if they have 2 or more co-founders. Of course, naturally, you might want to pitch as an entire team. But before you decide that, let's look into what makes sense. What is your goal with your pitch? Is it about showcasing your entire team who will be executing on that idea? So you build confidence in the investors that you have the right team behind the idea? Or is it about telling a compelling story and getting the buy-in from your investors? You need to be careful because either way might be good, but at the end of the day, you need to ask what's the goal and how we can achieve that goal with one person, 2, or 3. In my opinion, it should be one person presenting the pitch, the CEO. They should know and also demonstrate their knowledge and understanding of the whole business process, from business strategy, go-to-market, client acquisition, sales, all the way to how technology works. This also gives confidence to investors who want to see a strong CEO who not only understands but also can eloquently and concisely describe how the business works. If the CEO is not able to answer specific technical questions or questions related to finances, for example, they can open up the Q&A session to their co-founders. They can ask specific questions from, for example, their CTO or CMO to address specific questions because they have a better expertise in that particular area. However, if you decide to go that route, I encourage you to prepare ahead of time as a team. So not only CEO preps his pitch, but also the co-founding team and other team members who might be participating in the Q&A session, because you want to have very sharp, eloquent, and to the point answers to their questions. You want to answer as many questions as you can during the Q&A, so investors leave the room satisfied, knowing that they have asked all the important questions about your business. Also, think about the cost it might come with if you decide to present as an entire team, because handing over from one presenter to another can be quite distracting, and there is a time cost. It takes time for one presenter to present themselves and then to give the floor to the other person, and then they need to present themselves, and maybe there is something you need to hand over, like clicker for the slide, for example. All of these things take time. And if you have only 3 or 5 minutes, or even 10 minutes for that matter, it is very costly. So let's say you decide to present as an entire team. There are 3 co-founders in your team. How do you go about this? Well, ideally, I would suggest you to present as a team if all the 3 speakers are great public speakers and they can present well, concisely, clearly, and to the point. Remember, you have 3 to 5 minutes. And also, I would consider having 3 co-founders if each person is instrumental to explaining how the business works from their point of view, from their area of expertise. If you think this is essential, then sure, go ahead and present as three people. So let's say you decide and what to do next. I would encourage, if you decide to present as a team, rehearse as a team to make sure there is one storyline, there is a clear message, and there's a clear ask, and you agree on those key elements of the pitch. And also share the roles and responsibilities. Who is going to talk about what? Assuming that each person has a distinct area of expertise, I would suggest that that person only talks about that area. And also make sure to coordinate the handover. How do you pass from you to another colleague who is going to present? Because sometimes that can go very awkward as well. And also when it comes to Q&A, make sure you understand who is covering what question. Ideally, the CEO should cover all the questions except the specific ones, such as questions related to how the technology works, or how the business model makes sense, or what are the specifics of the marketing strategy. These kind of questions then can be delegated to co-founders and team members who are specialized in that particular area. But other than that, most of the questions ideally should be addressed by the CEO. One other thing I want to mention, if you decide to present as a team, is to rehearse and also practice how you will manage your nonverbal communication. These are specifically the visual, the posture, the body language, the eye contact. Ideally, there should be similar body language to demonstrate cohesion. And it also makes it easier for the audience to internalize your message. I would also recommend, even after you have done your part and now it's your team member presenting, make sure you still maintain that posture and body language and you don't just check out. I have seen pitches where once the person is done presenting, they check out. And their body language changes, their facial expression changes, and they're not very much involved with the pitch, which it doesn't help to the colleague, but it also distracts the audience, because now the audience is thinking, who do I pay attention to? To the person who is speaking, or to the other person whose body language is a bit distracting? So make sure you maintain that body language, that posture, but also make sure to have an engagement with the colleagues who are presenting. Maintain some level of eye contact by looking at them, maybe nodding, just to showcase that you are listening, that you agree or you support your idea. And the last question I often hear is how to handle Q&A. For a lot of startup teams, Q&A seems to be one of the challenging parts of the pitch. Why, you ask? Well, because they say they cannot predict or control what kind of questions investors might ask, so they are not very well prepared. Whereas they might have rehearsed their pitch and they can deliver it perfectly and effectively within 3 minutes. What about the Q&A, which they haven't prepped? Well, I would argue there are a lot of things you can do ahead of time to prepare for the Q&A. It really depends, first of all, who is your audience. Imagining that you are presenting and pitching your business to investors, my recommendation is do a little bit of research to understand who specifically will be there evaluating your pitch. Try to get an understanding of who they are, what do they believe, what kind of businesses they support, what is their portfolio. That can also tell you a lot. Based on what kind of businesses they support, you might get an idea of would they be interested in your kind of business. Also, if you can find any video recording or maybe written interview where these investors share their point of views or ask questions or engage in any way with the startup ecosystem, these type of interviews and videos can also give you a glimpse of insights in terms of what kind of questions they are concerned about when it relates to startup sector. Also, ask yourself if these investors are particularly interested in specific product or service, or they are specifically passionate about something. If these investors are socially and environmentally focused, for example, they might ask questions about the environmental impact or any social benefits of your business. Or let's say this investor might be more interested in terms of the market size or how fast your business might grow. That also gives you a bit of idea of what kind of questions they might ask. Another way to anticipate potential questions is actually to listen and analyze your pitch. When you rehearse, ask your team members and co-founders to listen to your pitch and pinpoint any specific areas maybe where you skimmed through very fast, which might be very important, or maybe there are some problematic, challenging parts of the pitch that potential investors might actually worry about? Or is there anything else that might be interesting and poke interest and curiosity of investors and they want to know more? So this can also help you based on what you cover and what you share within your pitch. You can also see maybe what kind of questions investors might ask. And another way to think about potential questions is to consider if you have skipped any important part of the pitch during your presentation. Have you thought about all the key elements of a startup pitch? Have you thought about your competitors and how you stand out from them? Or about your product market fit, and have you had already proven product that works and people want to buy? If you want to know more about the key elements of a startup pitch, check out my video on the top right corner where I talk about the 10 key elements of a startup pitch. I advise you to go through these elements and make sure you tick them all so your pitch addresses all the key aspects. And if they don't, then ask yourself what kind of questions this might trigger in my audience. That's it from me. I'll be back answering more of your questions to help you feel prepared and confident before the pitch day. And if you need my help through one-on-one coaching to help you prepare for your pitch, rehearse it, improve your verbal, non-verbal communication, as well as to ensure your audience is captivated and engaged, let me know. I would love to connect with you, learn more about you and your business, and help you pitch your idea more effectively. Till next time.